Welcome to It's Good to Have Goals with Bob and Ryan.
Welcome everybody to another edition of This Week It's Good to Have Goals. I'm Bob, that's Ryan. This week we've got the news. Ryan, what happened this week in the soccer world?
We'll start with our fifth game segment, like we always do, I guess. Other key points from around the globe. And we'll start with Manchester City's Champions League ban is overturned. We're taping this Monday afternoon. This happened Monday morning. Man City obviously were banned for 2 years from the Champions League and fined $30+ million. The CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sport, overturns it. Says you can play in the Champions League, and your fine is only $11 million, which doesn't sound too low, but considering the financial heavyweight that Man City is really significantly
Nothing to them.
It's change, not change, but it's a couple dollars.
Yeah.
That's big news in England, not only for City as they get to play in the Champions League next year, but big news for the other teams in the top three to 8 range.
So now they're getting bumped out.
Because previously the fifth place spot was the Champions League spot. Now it's fourth. Now it's probably going to end up being what was essentially Chelsea, Leicester, Wolves, Man United, and even Sheffield United to an extent, battling for 2 spots. Now it's those 5 teams battling for 1 spot. That fourth place, battling for 3 spots, I guess, sorry.
All right.
Battling for 2 spots now. And then we talk about Sheffield United as we just did. They beat Wolves, who were in 6th, and Chelsea, so 2 teams above them. Chelsea rather convincingly 3-0. Europe is probably back on for them. A couple weeks ago they were dropping points badly, and we came out and said Europe looks like a pipe dream at this point. They're sliding, their form probably will continue to drop. And they've recovered. And I didn't have faith in Chris Wilder, who's really good at getting his players motivated. I thought they just weren't as motivated as they should have been. They started to fall off. Chris Wilder got them motivated again. Sander Berg, the club record signing in January, was really poor those first 3 or 4 games in the midfield. He started to pick up his level.
Oh, nice.
Ollie Norwood's played better, and now all of a sudden they look again like a European team. Leicester continue to slide. After they were 2nd for most of the season, they're now 3rd, 4th even. I think they're 4th right now. And tied on points with Man United in 5th. They lost 4-1 to Bournemouth, who were in 19th at the time. 18th place Aston Villa also won. So did 17th place Watford. So did 16th place West Ham. So a rare week where you get all 4 teams in the bottom 5, 4 of the 5 teams in the bottom 5 that win games. The only team that didn't win a game was Norwich City, who have been officially relegated from the Premier League. They'll go down to the Championship. Espanyol has been relegated from La Liga, which is rare for them. They've played, I think, the 6th or 7th most games in La Liga history.
Oh, wow.
So they're really a team that's always in the league, not necessarily a contender, but always in the league. They always somehow survive. And this year, you always thought they would, but they just never got it going. And they are now relegated. But again, I want to touch really quickly on Leicester as a team that were 2nd the whole way of the year until about January. Brendan Rodgers looked like an early Manager of the Year contender for Leicester after he came over from Celtic. He's the former Liverpool manager, almost won the league title with them.
Fantastic.
And then all the stuff with Klopp and Liverpool surging ahead and Leicester now sliding. They could theoretically miss out on Europe altogether if they continue to slide and Sheffield United beats them next week and Wolves beats them and Wolves comes up and qualifies. Man United should be better than them. If they don't finish 5th or 6th, then all of a sudden you're going to have to you're finishing 7th, which sends you to Europa League qualifying. So you have to play 3 or 4 games just to qualify for the Europa League. And English teams normally don't fare well in those because it's the 1st place and 2nd place teams from the Czech Republic and Turkey. So they normally don't fare all too well. Leicester need to qualify for Europe after finishing 2nd. Not necessarily a money thing for them, it's just sort of reap the rewards of having a good start to the season. You need to finish in the top 7 after being 2nd. If they don't do that, they have a lot of, not issues, but it's going to be very disappointing.
Is that an epic slide in the world of soccer? Or
No, because it's Leicester. They weren't even expected to finish 7th. Probably 8th or 9th was their range. So, I mean, it's not that epic. If it was Man United that was 2nd, or Manchester City or Liverpool that was 2nd, and then they've struggled and they're going to finish 7th, then it's probably more epic, but not really in terms of the quality of the team and where they expected to finish 7th would be around where they should have finished. But it's the fact that they were 2nd and then just slid all the way down, and they don't look like they do not look like they're going to recover in the next 3 games, which is all they have left.
Well, we'll have to watch them.
More news is the Champions League and Europa League brackets were announced. That's how they're going to do it now. If I do remember, I'll touch on the key points. Manchester United and Inter Milan.
These are the groups.
The knockout brackets. So essentially it's 16 teams in each or something. I think it's 16 teams in each still. I'll touch on what I remember really quickly is the big names in the Europa League. Manchester United and Inter Milan are on 2 different sides of the bracket, so they've clearly been set up to sort of face each other in the final. That would be a very big, very important final. It could be, maybe not. Maybe if both teams qualify, then it's kind of a pointless final. As pointless finals go, at least. I mean, no final is pointless, but at that point. And in the Champions League, I think we've got Man City Juve. Could potentially be a game if they both advance. That'd be a fantastic game. Atletico Madrid look really good to advance to the semifinals. I think you look at the brackets, you look at how Atleti have played since the break, since the restart. They might be your Champions League favorites. I'll still stick to Real Madrid. Bayern Munich might be the best team in Europe. Man City, if they beat Real Madrid, look like a favorite. You've got a lot of contenders there. Porto are pulling away in the Portuguese League. This is the first time we've talked about the Portuguese League.
Yeah.
When the restart started, they were tied with Benfica. Now they're not. They're about 4 to 6 points ahead. Leeds are nearing promotion to the Premier League.
Oh, good for them.
They've got, I think, all they have to do is take a point from their next game, and they guarantee promotion to the top flight. Who's going to join them is the big question. West Brom are in 2nd currently in so-so form. Brentford are in fantastic form in 3rd. Fulham are in so-so form in 4th. And then you're going to get, so that'll be the automatic 2nd spot. And then all those teams will probably go into the playoff to qualify for the 3rd spot.
Fantastic.
And then we go to our Americans.
All right, our American Idols, our Americans that are playing soccer overseas. Who are our players to watch this week?
So Chris Richards is a player we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, who made it when he made his debut for Bayern and got promoted with Bayern's 2nd team. He's drawing interest from Chelsea, Arsenal, Valencia, Leipzig, and PSV, some of the biggest names in Europe, some big producers of talent, big nurturers of talent. Other German teams are also interested. It doesn't make sense to me. I think if he stays at Bayern, that's his best chance of playing. I think he will stay at Bayern. I think they have a plan for him to be in the first team next year. If not, he'll go out on loan to some sort of smaller German team, probably. Indiana Vassilev, who we talked about a few weeks ago, he's not from Indiana. We found out he's from Georgia. He keeps getting minor minutes for Aston Villa. If they get relegated, he might have a bigger place in the first team next year.
How old is he again?
18, 19, 20. He's younger. He's a U20 international for them. Christian Pulisic scores again against Crystal Palace.
Christian's one of the best players on the team for Chelsea, right?
He's been the best player on the team since the restart. I don't think he's the best player on the team by a long shot. But form-wise, he's been their best player. So that's our Europe. MLS is back.
MLS is back. Yep, been watching it the last couple days.
MLS is back.
ESPN.
MLS is back is not only back, but it's also the name of the tournament. Giassi Zardes, everyone's favorite striker, who never seems to score, scores twice for Columbus against Cincinnati in a big rivalry match there. Alejandro Bedoya, who's retired from the U.S. but still gets a winner as Philadelphia beat NYCFC. Philadelphia could be a favorite in the MLS is back tournament. And Chris Mueller scores for Orlando City. Hasn't played for the U.S., probably won't ever play for the U.S. I think he should be in a January camp now, next year, with a chance to convince Greg Berhalter that he should be in the squads.
Really?
If he gets into a January camp and play, I think he'll play well.
What position is he?
He's a winger, forward. I think if he gets into a January camp, I think he plays well. I think he doesn't leave the U.S. national team for the next 10 years as a sub. He'll never start for the U.S. men's national team, but he's got all this. He's got a lot of energy and ability off the bench that you can use as a bench player. Ever since he came to the league 2 years ago, I've really liked Chris Mueller from Indiana. I think he went to college at Indiana. He's been fantastic for Orlando last year. So far, so good for Orlando this year. So good for Chris Mueller. And again, I can't reiterate it enough. Chris Mueller, if he gets a shot, He won't let it get past him.
We will be watching him.
We got our news segment, so this is the off the field stuff, and we'll start. Obviously, you could talk about Man City as we put that in the fifth game because that kind of is more on the field in terms of they can now qualify if they do well enough in the Champions League.
Fair enough.
The Manchester clubs are battling to sign Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar, something like that. He's a center back, really good. He's had a falling out of sorts with Antonio Conte, the Inter Milan coach. 60 to 70 million will probably get him. I don't think Manchester United are interested in paying 60 to 70 million for a center back. I can certainly tell you Man City are interested in 60 to 70 million for a center back. He'll probably, if he goes to one of those two, he'll go to Man City. I think it's more likely he stays at Inter. He's a really good center back that Inter really like.
When do you think this transaction will take place?
I don't think it'll take place, but again, if it does, probably sometime whenever the window opens. Technically, the window is not open because the league is still going on. It's a really weird time where they're going to vote. I think the Premier League, all the different leagues might have different transfer windows. So La Liga's transfer window could be 2 months from now to August or whatever, 2 months from now. The Premier League might not start till 2-3 months from now. You never know. Wigan are already looking to offload their young talent. We talked about Wigan last week entering arbitration or administration. And you really need to sell a lot of players. You need to sell a lot of your talent. Premier League teams are going to take advantage of that. And they already have. Jensen Weir, who's probably their brightest young center mid talent, has got interest from Sheffield United, Brighton, a couple of the other mid-table sides. And look for Wigan to sell a lot of players. They could be in big trouble in the long term.
Ouch.
Manuel Pellegrini, the former Man City boss and West Ham boss, he's become, and Villarreal boss, has become the new Real Betis manager. Not that big of news. He's struggled the last 5 years in his club jobs. I don't think he'll do that great there, but you never know. Hee-chan Hwang, or Hwang Hee-chan, South Korean international, has played over 30 times for South Korea, signed for RB Leipzig from RB Salzburg. So that's sort of become the new kind of way. RB Leipzig have 4 or 5 or 6, even, I think, 6 players in their squad that have signed from Salzburg. So I just wanted to touch on that because I think that's interesting that you get a lot of players. Obviously, you have RB Leipzig, who's now the big main team in the Red Bull family. You've got a Brazilian Red Bull team. You've got Salzburg. You've got New York Red Bulls. They're dipping their hands in a lot of different places.
I'm not a big fan of the RB teams. I think it's too much corporate money.
I think I am a fan of it because it sounds like corporate money. It sounds bad. But the famous quote in Germany about them is a lot of people hate RB Leipzig because they're smart. They know how to run a club. They only sign young players. They don't go after the 28-year-old Ronaldos and Messis of the world. They sign the 21-year-old Tyler Adams, the 21-year-old Hee-chan Hwangs. They go after young players, Mateus Cunha from Brazil, and then they not necessarily nurture them, but give them a platform in Europe to shine and sell them on. They won't ever turn down an offer. They're always going to say, if you offer me 40 million, I'll say 70 million, and we'll work it out. Because we're always going to be interested in selling a player and making a profit on him.
Yep.
So they're smart. They do business well. A lot of people hate them. I would say 80% of the people in Germany and the world probably hate them because they're Red Bull. 20% of the people hate them because they're smart.
And on all those Red Bull teams, the city or the state still owns 51% of the team at least?
Not just in Germany.
Or just in Germany?
Red Bull owns all of New York Red Bulls, probably all of Salzburg. And again, it's really difficult to kind of touch on how well they run their club. It's fascinating to me how well they run their clubs, and expect to see them in and around. I think they're going to be the next non-Bayern Munich to win the German league. I think Dortmund won't, even though they should. I think Leipzig, the way they run their business, again, you can't reiterate it enough. It's fascinating the way they say, no, even though we've got this super good player, super key player for our team, Timo Werner, scores 20 goals in a Bundesliga season. Most teams wouldn't want to sell him for less than 100 million. They said 55 million. You can have it because we only got him for 10. So we've made $45 million. That's how they look at it. Craig Gardner is the manager of Birmingham City. He's just retired last year, so
33-year-old retiring.
Fast step from soccer. Yeah. Fast step there. Ziyech and Werner trained with Chelsea for the first time. They're new signings. Both combined over 100 million spent on them. They could spend 100 million more on Kai Havertz, who was looking like a Bayern Munich signing. Now he looks like he wants to go to Chelsea. I don't agree with him. I don't think Chelsea need him. I don't think he fits Chelsea. It's just Chelsea putting money in a talented player that might not be good for them. I think he should go to Bayern. I think he should go to Real Madrid, someplace that fits his abilities. But you never know.
Well, looking forward to see how all those transactions take place over the next few weeks. Did we miss anything in today's show?
Nope, we got all the news there.
Fantastic. See y'all next week.